Judge Piet Koen is expected to announce his decision in the Pietermaritzburg High Court today on whether he is recusing himself from former President Jacob Zuma's arms deal-related corruption trial. But for more on this, let's speak now to legal analyst Advocate Nosipho Khumalo via Zoom. Advocate Khumalo, a good morning to you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. I mean, what do you believe Judge Piet Koen will consider doing, or will rather consider as he makes this decision about whether or not he recuses himself from the trial?
Oh, well, on a previous appearance, Judge Koen made a statement that upon careful reflection, he has concluded that the issue of his continued involvement, it needs to be addressed considering the interest of justice. And he was referring in this issue to the integrity if he continues to preside over this matter. Well, for the application for recusal, well, it can be done voluntarily, which is meromutu, which is what the presiding officer, Judge Koen, has done in this instance, or it can be made by a person who's got an interest, maybe the accused person in this instance, on an application in court. So in this issue, there was no application that was made. It was done meromutu, which is voluntarily. Judge Koen, it does not show that he has any interest, like conflicting interest at this stage. However, upon consideration of the interest of justice and integrity, then he made a decision that the issue of his continued involvement in this trial needs to be addressed. Well, it is a clear rule of our law that no person who has an interest in respect of a matter or a person who harbors any prejudice in a matter should preside in a matter that he knows that there will be some sort of assumptions or presumptions in terms of the integrity or in terms of his biasness, partiality in the matter. Well, I believe that since he has decided on his own and he was not pushed or there was no application made for him to recuse himself, he will make a decision based on the facts of the case that he presided previously, because he did mention that he is basing this application on the integrity. Well, it can be either way. He can decide either to recuse himself or not to recuse himself, depending on the facts. I cannot conclude right now, but I can say that looking at the fact that he has not been pushed or there was no application made for him to recuse himself, there is that possibility that he might recuse himself, even though we cannot be sure.
Yeah, I think just before I let you go, and I think this is an important one, as we address the issue of fairness at this stage, I think there's a really big question around whether or not also this just brings about even more delays to a court process that certainly has been going for many years, where we're seeing the challenging even of Prosecutor Billy Downer, and now Judge Piet Koen possibly recusing himself from the case. What does it mean for I suppose, the road towards justice?
Well, we can say in an essence that it is fair, or it does not interfere with the constitutional rights of the accused to a fair trial in this instance, because we can say that at this point in time the trial is not yet commenced, and the judge or the presiding officer has that right to make this application before the commencement of the trial. If the trial is not commenced yet, there are no issues in terms of the fairness of the trial. We all know that the accused has got his rights to fair trial, and that will be actually his rights to a fair trial if the judge, considering the fact that there will be issues in the case in terms of the administration of justice and in terms of the rights of constitutional rights of the accused, then, well, it will be good for him to recuse himself if he feels that for any other reason that would be tempered with the administration of justice and the constitutional rights of the accused to fair trial.
Yeah.
However, if he does recuse himself at the end of the day, today of which we are still waiting, it will mean that the trial must start de novo, which means it must start afresh, and there won't be much prejudice that will be seen yet, because the trial is not yet started.